Pray for me. Pray for me. Hi, this is the Hippie Pastor with show number 8 of the new Hippie Pastor show. Before we continue with my story and my search for God, what happened was that there's something we need to clarify. There's something we need to clarify. The Hippie Pastor needs to clarify something very important. The Anunnaki, descendants of An, the God of heaven, of the heavens, the Igigi, the earth goddess Kai, Sumerian mother goddess Ninhursag. These people, they see mermaids, they see creatures, they see flying saucers, they see people from outer space. They communicate with extraterrestrials. And with all respect for the Bodhisattvas, which is a Buddhist sect. On the last show, I made a light comment of criticism. Well, I was talking about evangelical Christians mostly, that think that they own the truth, when nobody owns the truth, and nobody owns the Hippie Pastor. I am free. I am a free spirit. But I want to clarify that these people, the Anunnaki, descendants of An, and the Bodhisattvas, and all Buddhists, are welcome in my house. And I know they don't want me to change to their religion, because I've got my own Hippie Pastor ministry and beliefs. But I respect the Buddhist people. They are my brothers and they are my sisters, and the Anunnaki, descendants of An. May they be blessed in their search of extraterrestrials. And I salute them. Okay, my brothers and my sisters, let us get down to business. I escaped the gay man, the homosexual man, the house of the homosexual, and I stole this handkerchief from his house. Very nice handkerchief, very colorful, very colorful. Woo! Anyway, so as I escaped his house, because I realized I was not homosexual, his hairy beard was touching my skin, and I did not like it, the feeling of it. Two men against men. Some people like it. I got a lot of gay friends. Some of my best friends are gay. Just don't push it on me. Anyway, so as I leave, I meet this in the middle of the night. Well, it was like 2 or 3 in the morning. Beautiful sunrise in the Pacific Ocean of the hills of San Francisco. I meet this black hippie, African-American hippie. You know, there weren't that many black hippies in the hippie revolution in the late 60s and the early 70s. Most of them were Caucasian and some Latinos, but there weren't that many black hippies for some reason. Well, black people, African-Americans, they always smoke their weed, man. They chill, man. They didn't need that kind of revolution. They already hug each other, man. Black people are really into touch and hugging, and they're more loving. The mamas slaps them across the face, and they spank their children, and so they're more biblical. They're more, I don't know, they're more simple. They might have their problems, you know, as a community, but they still believe in family. The mama can still, you know, they're all together, and they believe in touch. You see them hanging out in the black neighborhoods. So maybe to them the hippie revolution wasn't that much of a thing with it, that they really needed that bad, like the Caucasian people, where there's so much more coldness in their family affections. But this black hippie, you know, but the few black hippies in the hippie revolution, man, they made the difference. Jimi Hendrix, Sly and the Family Stone. Should I go on? And many, many more black people. Richie Havens, I already said that. Anyway, so this black hippie was a super cool dude, and we hooked up. He was not a homosexual. He was hetero, like me. And he had mescaline. synthetic mescaline, which comes from peyote, and and it's organic form, and San Pedro. But he had synthetic mescaline pills, and we tripped, man. He gave me one, and we were tripping. It's so beautiful, man, because mescaline has a better feeling than LSD is super. You can't compete with LSD, but I mean, mescaline is more relaxing. So I took the mescaline, and then he asked me where I was headed, and I said, well, I'm going south, and I'm trying to find God. I think God might be further south. I haven't found him here. I found this gay man, but I didn't find God. So he said, well, why don't you go to Big Sur? You might find God there, because it's a natural forest, and all the hippies live there, camping out in nature, all together, and they share their food, they share their marijuana, their weed, they even share their women, hippie culture, man. So I decided to do that, exactly that, and I headed down to Big Sur, and there I found lots of hippies, and I was welcome into the hippie family, and they slept in tents and with campfires and smoking marijuana and talking philosophies on my search for God. I think I spent like 2 months there living in Big Sur. We would survive from the tourists who would leave us their goods when they went back to the big city, or we would trade some of our weed for some of their food. But I lacked nothing. I was nice and slim trim too in those days. Not an inch of fat. But anyway, so then, therefore, I continued there, and then in my search, in a store, because I did not like Christians. I wanted Jesus, but I did not agree with, I had a bad feeling about Christianity. It just didn't seem to jive like the way Jesus was, such a cool guy. So I said, man, maybe I need to find a strange religion. So I went into the store, and I found this book called Don Juan, written by a Peruvian guy named Carlos Castaneda. And Carlos Castaneda wrote the book Don Juan. And Don Juan was about a shaman in Mexico, right? Who, through the use of peyote, he would take you to find the light of life, to find God, to find the truth of the universe. Through peyote, the shaman down in Mexico, somewhere south in Mexico, I don't know if it was Sinaloa, I forget what state, where Mazatlan is. So more or less I read it in the book, and I said, well, maybe I should go there to find this peyote guru so I could see the light, because I lived in turmoil. I lived in inner conflict, mental conflicts in the head of the Hippie Pastor. I had mental issues. I was paranoid all the time. I lived in anguish. I was unhappy. I was empty inside. There was a burning fire of hell inside my soul. I had no love. I had no girlfriend. I just smoked marijuana and hang out with the hippies, but I don't know, there's something missing in my life. God was, the purpose of existence was missing in my life. The purpose of existence. So that's what I decided to go find. So to make a long story short, a short story long, I left. I made it to Los Angeles, and I ended up getting, I realized I needed to get a job, even just for 30 days. So then with that money, I could go into Mexico to find the peyote guru, Don Juan, of the book of Carlos Castaneda. Anyway, I ended up fluctuating toward Venice Beach, which was the hippie town in LA, where all the hippies hung out and helped each other and lived together in peace and harmony. Later on, I'm going to tell you something about these hippie towns that later became gay towns. That's all over the United States. Because I guess the gays felt comfortable with the hippies because hippies accepted anybody and everybody, and they were non-judgmental, and they were very open-minded, and they were cool. Anyway, so I got to Venice Beach, and I didn't have, I don't know, maybe I slept out on the streets. But anyway, these evangelical Christians, these young guys they were like a cult, and they were all men, young men, and they lived in this apartment, and they would go out preaching to the hippies, but in a very judgmental, condemnation religion, very hardcore Christians, fundamentalists, fanatics, but they told me I could live in their house as long as I go out with them out in the streets to preach to the hippies. I could live in their house, and so they rescued me from the streets, and I went inside their house to live. And there, I will tell you, because this leads to certain things that happened that leads to the events in this situation. Ladies and gents, with the love that characterizes my personality, I say, I love you all. See you next show. Don't miss it. Don't miss out.